Now, giving and receiving that call brings with it both responsibilities and also some rights and benefits. For the worker, there are responsibilities. We're responsible to uphold the faith that we confess. In fact, ministers are asked before they begin their ministry to make certain promises, that they believe that the scriptures are the Word of God, inspired and without error, that they'll teach in accordance with the teachings of the Lutheran Church and do a number of other things. Now, of course, we don't ask them to make these promises until they've studied enough to be able to make them in good conscience. They know what those things mean. In the end, they're ready to say, yes, I will teach this way, because they've learned enough that they believe that way. Other responsibilities or expectations, as we expect that our ministers will not lead a scandalous or offensive life. Now, ministers are sinners just like the members of their congregations, but we do need to set a good example, both a good example of conduct in how we act, but we also need to be examples of grace, to be the kind of people that will admit the truth, that we are sinners who need Jesus and his forgiveness. Ministers model that grace. We live the kind of life that we ask people to live, lives under grace, devoted to Christ, hearing his call and receiving his gifts, listening to his word, receiving his sacraments, worshiping with his church. These are part of our responsibilities, and that really shouldn't surprise us because that's what we want all of the members of our churches to be like. We're setting an example. Other responsibilities, well, if the church gives me duties, I should try to faithfully fulfill those duties. To be responsible. To not be checking up, need to have people checking up on me all the time, but rather to work and to live in a way that shows that I take my calling seriously. And it's also important that our ministers learn to work well with others. We will always be working with other people in ministry. Even if I'm the minister of a small congregation where I'm the only called worker there, still I'm working with other people, with the members of that church, with their officers, and other people who are around. I need to work well with people so that I don't get in the way of the gospel. Now, in addition to responsibilities, there's also benefits. When a congregation calls us to ministry, there's a commitment that happens there. They're saying, we expect you to be here, and we will support you and work with you. As long as you uphold your end, if you are a faithful minister, we will stand behind you. We will listen to you and pray for you and work with you. And that's a great benefit. Ministers typically have good job security. As long as we continue to do our calling faithfully, the congregations keep using us until God calls us to another place. There's also a really important benefit, and that is when I know I'm called, there's a certain confidence that comes with that. I know that those people have called me to be a minister. And that's important on a hard day. Every one of us has days when things don't go the way we want to. Every person in almost any job has times when they think, maybe I'll give this up and go do something else. But as a minister, I know even if I have those feelings of doubt sometimes, that there's a congregation or a church that stands behind me. There are people who are praying for me, who want me to succeed in my calling, and who are there to back me up. And that's an important thing. To know that those people are there with you, and that I am there for them, that gives a lot of strength in calling.